Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over the target selectors today. This is a pretty advanced tutorial, I'd say. I'm going to be going over how they work. I'll be putting timestamps in the description, and I might put them on screen. We'll see if future me does that. So first we're going to go over the hasitem. So first we're going to go over the formatting for the command. So when you pull it up, you do kind of any kind of command, but let's just like give ourselves something. So do give and then at all. So it's pretty normal, target selectors. But if you use the bracket symbol on your keyboard, this stuff will pop up. This specifies what type of person you're giving it to. So right now it's giving at all people, and this thing specifies it. So we're going to start with the hasitem specifier. So we do give to all people who have the item. So hasitem equals, and then curly bracket. So we're giving something to all people who have an item, and we haven't specified that yet. So we can now talk about the data, the actual item, where it is in the inventory, and what quantity it has. So first, let's go over the item. Do slash give at a bracket hasitem equals curly bracket item equals, and then we'll have all this. So let's say the item is an arrow. I have an arrow in my inventory. And then I do curly bracket to close it off, and then do another one, do regular square bracket. And then now I'm back to the regular command where I'm choosing what to give myself. So I'd give myself something maybe like a button. Myself like a birch button. So as you can see, because I don't have what I specified in that command, I didn't get it. But if I go to creative mode and I give myself an arrow and I run the command again, I got a birch button. So that's pretty much how that command works. There's some extra specificities you can give it. So some other things that you can add to that command are extra parameters like this. So whenever you're specifying something, so you always do the initial command, the kind of type of people you're looking for, whether it be entities or people. Right now I'm doing all players, and then what type of very specific thing you're looking for. In this case, it's looking to see if they have a specific item, and then I'm looking for an arrow as the item. But if I hit comma, I can kind of continue that, and I can also like say if I want to see if that person has like 5 arrows, and then I give them something. Do quantity equals 5, and then curly brackets and square brackets. And let's give myself oak planks. So as you can see, it says no targets match selector because I don't have 5 arrows, I only have 1. So if I give myself 5 arrows and I run the command again, now I got that oak plank. So if we go back to the command again, we could do other types of parameters. So if we go back to the command, we do hasitem item equals arrow, comma, location equals, and it'll show all these different types of things. This is very useful to see where the person might be holding that item, to see if it's in any of the armor slots, if it's on the chest plate, feet, head, legs, like see if someone's wearing a type of armor, then give them something. If it's in chest, inner chest, stuff like that. If it's in their hotbar, inventory, saddle, main hand or offhand. Now, main hand and offhand, more so main hand and actually .inventory, are the two that I use the most to see like if I want to enchant something that someone is holding. So if I do location slot dot weapon dot main hand, curly bracket, square bracket, amethyst block. So as you can see, no targets match selector. But if I hold the arrows and I run the command again, then I get an amethyst block. And also, by the way, if you're doing a has item and you don't specify the quantity, it doesn't matter. The amount of that item, it doesn't matter. It only matters if you specify it. So that's basically how the has item works. And you can constantly chain these. So I could do something like, so item equals arrow, quantity equals 5, comma, location equals slot dot weapon main hand, and then curly brackets, square brackets, and do the same thing again. But of course that didn't work because I didn't have this in my main hands. But I do have 5 arrows and I have arrows in general. So then if I run the command again, then I get an amethyst block. So this is pretty complex, but once you get this down, it is very useful, and I'll show you later on how you can kind of use this. So now I'm going to talk about the X, Y, and Z target parameters along with DX, DY, and DZ a little bit. So I have marked this spot as my reference point, and you have to have coordinates on for this to work so that you know where it's supposed to be at. So as I'm sitting on this block, I've written down my coordinates as you can see them in the top left. And so I've written them down, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a command, and I'm going to have it only pertain to the people that are standing on this block. So I'll give all players who have the X of, in my case, -42, the Y of -60, and the Z of 22. But you also want to add more. You can't just put the X, Y, and Z. Because in this case, it kind of means if they have the X of -42, or the Y of -60, or the Z of 22. So what you want to do is you want to put DX. Basically, DX is used to specify the distance of X. And you will need this because if you don't put the DX, then as long as you are on the -42 spot, then you will always be able to get the block that will be given because of this command. The command will always pertain to you as long as you are on -42x. So do dx equals 0, comma, and same thing for dy. dy equals 0, comma, and same thing for dz. dz equals 0. Bracket. And then I'll give myself an amethyst block. So as you can see, I'm standing here. Got an amethyst block. Go over here. Don't get an amethyst block. If I go over here, don't get an amethyst block. If I go here, don't get one. If I go here, don't get one. And as you can see, it works. You can kind of copy this command, and all you have to do is just put your coordinates in these spots. It's pretty simple. And yeah, that's pretty much how the X, Y, Z along with DX, DY, and DZ works. I'll expand on the D coordinates later in the video. Alright, so now I'm going to be talking about the radius command along with X, Y, and Z. So, as you can see, I've made kind of this Minecraft-y circle, like a target almost. So this is the center block. I have a command block that I'll show you in a sec. with this being the center coordinate, with, you know, X, Y, and Z being like the coordinates in the top left. And this is kind of the radius. So this command block, I've got kill all entities with the starting point being x equals -56, y equals -60, z equals 17, and the radius equals 5. So the radius is very good if you want to like specify a certain area. So to count it, you start from the center, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, count for all the different directions. And you kind of make a, you know, a blocky circle. And that's kind of what it works in. So it's pretty simple. You just have your starting coordinates and then how big you want the radius of the area of effect to be. So I'll kind of demonstrate how this works by using some sheet. So now when I press this button, all of them die. Most of them. There's still some kinks. Sometimes there's a bit of like a glitch where some parts of it doesn't work because a part of their body is like sticking through a wall. So that's always something you kind of got to look out for. It won't always completely work because the entity's location can sometimes be on the other side, especially if you're using a fence. But for the most part, it works. And then now I'm going to be talking about the RM command. It's very similar. So I have kill at E, and it's basically the same thing, same center point, and then it's still I'm gonna change that, radius of 5, and then you have RM. RM is basically this little spot right here. It's kind of like the radius. So you have 1, 2, you know, little radius that I marked out right here. So basically what this command does is it's putting the center point to be, you know, X, Y, and Z right here, and the entire radius being 5. But it excludes whatever entity is within the 2 center blocks. That's what RM does. So it excludes these 2. So if I put these sheep down, see there's some in the center, but if I hit this button, all the ones that were touching the center lived. So let me test that again. So if I put a sheep here, it's fine because it was touching the center. But then if I hit it again, it dies because it wasn't touching the center. Pretty simple. It's basically the same thing as the radius command over here. But you add the RM to specify that the center isn't touched. So nothing happens to the center. So now I'm going to talk about the dx, dy, and dz commands more in detail and what they can actually do outside of coordinate specification. So let's start with dy. So as you can see, I've got the zombie up here in this kind of cage. He's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. 5, 6 blocks above me. So as you can see, I'm standing right below him. If I run the command kill all entities, dy equals 10, close brackets. So basically what this does is it's killing all entities that are within 10 blocks above the place that's being run. So if it was a command block, it would kill anyone that was within 10 blocks above the command block. But because I'm running the command, it's anything or anyone that is 10 blocks or below above me. So if I run this command, you can hear the zombie's dead. Yeah, as you can see, the zombie's gone. So the same thing works with dx. So the same thing works with dx too. So as you can see, this zombie is in front of me. And when I move in this direction, my x goes towards the positive side, as you can tell. So positive side. This is important So the zombie is farther than me towards the positive side, not towards the negative side, which would be this way. So if I stand here, I do kill all entities, and then specify it. Do dx equals 10, bracket. So the reason why I specified the fact that it would either be positive or negative is because if the zombie was towards the spot where when you move there, your x coordinate gets more negative, I would have to put dx equals negative 10 because it's farther away from the origin of the world. But because he's closer to the center, you do dx equals 10. So when I run it, he dies. So basically the same thing for DZ. Very simple. He's towards the positive side because I know when I move this direction, the Z number goes up. So if I do /kill at E, DZ equals 10. Can I close it? He dies. So I showed you that you could do the same thing that I did with dy and dx. You could do with dz. But as you'll see, I'll show you why I was specifying the positive and negative. So when I move this way, my z coordinate gets negative, which is the one on the far right of the coordinate position list. So when I move towards him, it goes down. So if I stand on this line, which this is just for reference. If I do /kill at E, dz equals negative 10, close it, he dies because he's farther from the origin than I am, and the z origin is towards that direction. So because he's more so on the negative side than on the positive side of the z coordinate, when you do negative, it affects whatever entity is in that way. And that's going to be it for this video. I was hoping to be able to add the rest of it into this video, but upon looking at it, it is going to take way too long to include the rest into the video, and this video is already getting kind of long. So I will make a part 2 as my next video, and in my opinion, that is probably one of the more important stuff, such as talking about scoreboards and other things like that. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, see you later.